Welcome back to Nino Kuni 2. So, yeah. Once again, let's... let's check our kingdom a bit. Let's see.
Well, we have to go and visit Mr. Wright, the head of the shipbuilders.
I'm sure there's nothing going wrong. Let's check what on Chinggis. Go ahead, Jova.
Do you have a moment to spare, Evan, lad? You've received a letter.
Tied to an arrow.
Tied to an arrow, that is.
It's the invitation for a smash.
Message for you, sir.
No, actually, too, it's an invitation for everybody's golf.
Hit you. Did you do this?
It was a close call, but I managed to pluck it out of the air at the last second. We sky pirates have sharp eyes, lad. And a good job, too.
Oh, thank goodness. But who would send a letter like that?
It's an invite to Gulf Island.
Yeah, why don't you read it yourself?
An invitation for...
Go ahead, Dwebs. Go ahead. You're tyrant.
Dear Mr. Imposter, there's only one king of the Heartlands, mate, and that's me. So I've taken me land back and I'll take your castle and all if you don't mind. Catch your own, mate. Tyrant, real king of the Heartlands.
Real king of the Heartlands. So yeah, for those who don't remember, Tyrant was the bandit we beat in order to get to the Heartlands, and he's out for revenge.
Tyrant, he's the bandit we beat when we first came to the Heartlands, isn't he?
Okay, thanks, Evan. I remember that you would recap from me. Sorry.
I guess he know, but there might be a Portuguese guy. Just to troll him, I'm gonna put exactly what he said.
God damn it, Hino, you and your prophetic powers.
Well, he might think that, but we can't let him take our land, and we certainly can't let him take our castle.
He knows his audience well.
Too blessed right we can't. But have no fear, we'll soon send the swabs a-packing. I took the liberty of posting a sentry outside the castle walls.
Oh, very good,
go and inquire as to the lay of the land.
Well, of course he does, Shiri. That's why Level 5 made one of them fan servicey games recently.
Oh, I will, thank you.
Liberation Maiden?
No, he's talking about a Japanese exclusive mobile game that's a bit more fan servicey than their usual stuff.
The visual novel sequel to Liberation Maiden?
No. It's a new IP.
A prequel to Liberation Maiden?
Jova.
Oh, never mind. You said new IP.
Anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 58 of Jova Doesn't Pay Attention to What Pedro is saying.
Well, to be fair, I said it literally right after he said it, so it just took me a bit of time to respond.
Oh yeah, this is Muriel. Well, hold on.
Right?
At this point, she might as well just. I'll do it. Not really, Your Majesty. I got a bit of a dilemma on my hands, to be honest. Sure, I can read the next one because it's already.
And plenty of interval.
Go ahead.
Wow.
Go ahead, Shiri.
Oh, sorry.
Oops.
You see, my,
Lapacas.
Lapacas told me that the fence surrounding their
Basically, the fence is broken. Go ahead, continue.
I said I'd repair it for them.
Shiro, you live in a country where two L's at the beginning of a word are a common thing.
Keep going.
But the truth is, I've got no idea what material to use. I mean, is there any kind of wood that won't give them splinters?
All right, Shiroi, you're familiar. All right, Shiroi, you come from the land of the sheep. Like, is there a good wood for fence that won't cause sheep splinters?
Yes.
Grass.
Well, remember.
Grass.
Well, it has.
Yeah.
Once again, well, I seriously doubt you can make a fence out of grass.
Honestly, like, if we're talking about farms in this country, the walls are either made of stone, barbed wire, or they're giant hedges.
Wait, Pedro, I've got it. Don't you see? We use one of the leaves that Timothy used to make new pencils out of greenery.
Oh,
and
great.
hey, Pedro, most hedges are made from big grass, so it's true.
So you see what we need to do, guys? We need to consult the pencil capital of the U.S.
Anyway, the actual...
Sorry. Pencil like that.
Maybe. Anyway, the actual real answer is grain lumber. So we need to get 5 pieces of grain lumber, which are really easy to get. I think I already have them as of now. Let me see.
Mm-hmm. I have a lot of items.
Yeah, I do.
Or in this game.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
5 pieces of 5 grain lumber.
Oh yeah, this reminds me. I was playing a side quest like this in the Near Automata recently, where I had to get something and give it to someone. But it turned out I already had the item in my hands. As soon as the mission started, it was completed.
That's common. That's common. That
Yeah,
happens a
that's
lot in
common in a lot of
JRPGs.
RPGs, yes.
I sometimes like when that happens.
Yeah, it happened to me with the very first side quest of Nier Automata because I
It's
just
for,
took some.
it's for convenience.
My
most of the time.
favorite times when that happens is when the developers actually think to put in extra bits of dialogue for when you came prepared.
Yeah.
True. Go ahead, Shiri.
Oh no, you've done more than enough, really. I can take it from here. Thanks again.
Really? You don't even need me to do your shopping for you?
Part of being a king is, of course, keeping your
Do my
citizens.
chores, Evan.
Being a king is also about keeping your citizens happy. So there you go. Now we get a good fence for the Lapacas.
Oh.
All right. There's the others. Oh, there's one more side quest. I don't think I do that one on screen though, because that's one of the more gameplay driven missions that I decided to, just for the sake of not. This playthrough is already 60 plus parts. I haven't even finished recording yet, so. For the sake of not having it be too. That's the thing, Joe. But this game has so much great stuff to do that I want to show. That it really gets to the point. Like the game is full of content.
By all means, show it.
All right, and it's actually meaty content. It's not like a certain other JRPG that we played recently that just reuses the same dungeons over and over.
No, but I thought Pedro, implying that was a JRPG to begin with.
But it was.
Well, technically, it is. It has levels. It has dungeons. It has a battle system.
And it's from Japan.
And it officially does have a genre of JRPG.
Although it's funny though, it's funny though. Compile after having a Canadian team make another game, so would that be?
Well, remember, actually, that's a good segue. Taya, why don't you talk to us about? Sorry, go
Is that
ahead.
going to be Is that going to be called a CRPG technically? Because C for Canada.
No, just RPG. For some reason, it's incredibly special when an
Western
RPG is made in.
But that's actually a good. Sorry.
Are generally their own species.
I'll be quite honest, though. I really don't see the need to give JRPGs their own genre name. It's just RPGs made in Japan.
Anyway, that's actually a good segue, Taya. Why don't you talk to us about the most recent IP that I might be recording eventually if it comes up in the West?
You mean
basically, the Compile Art just announced that, at least for the time we're recording, I think they had even a countdown teaser site. Basically, the project was called originally Witches Cross Dragons. Basically, the X was used for when you ship someone or something. So basically, it was for that intended purpose, witches and dragons. The premise supposedly is that witches in the world of the setting we're creating for the video game are cursed beings. In what specific way? They have a dragon seed in their womb from birth. Hold on. When they grow up, they start feeling, I think it's insatiable hunger for blood, and if they don't quench it, they become mad from the revelation, similar to witches in the Madoka Magica franchise. However, the more blood they eat, the more the dragon seed grows in them, like an actual dragon fetus, which eventually develops into a full dragon baby that tears its way through the womb of a host, like a xenomorph from Alien.
Charming.
Oh, it gets even better.
That's just the premise. I really hope that the translators fucked up something.
So they're going from making an incredibly unsubtle,
Parody.
Yeah, to making a literal hentai. That's fantastic.
And by the way, the people involved for this project are one from Fairy Fencer F, a major one, and the other from Moiro Chronicle, which was another very...
For those who don't know, it's one of the more fan servicey Compile Hard games, even by their standards. To give you guys an idea, the Japanese cover for that game has literally one of the chicks' asses right on the cover.
Okay. Let me put it like this. This is beyond fan service. Let's just call it what it is, fetish. Like, I mean, okay, let me put it like
Especially
this.
because, for a comparison, also remember me suffer from the same problem because Capcom marketing. But in-game kneeling was not as sexualized as it was in the cover.
Anyway, basically, Tio, turns out that was not a mistranslation. Yeah, basically the general gist is this. Witches sometimes mate with dragons, and dragons may be more humanoid looking. The thing is, like, well, witches have to consume dragons in order to keep themselves from going mad, and thus, yeah, they have the dragons growing inside them. And then eventually the dragons, when they become invade, start to try and fight their way out.
Oh, you lost a unit. Oh no,
I can bring back the units even if they fall. However, that costs me way more military might than if I just call reinforcements.
But yeah, Jova, it's like Death Stranding Animo Edition.
So let's see.
Except Death Stranding doesn't look horribly disgusting from what I can tell for that description of the compound.
Well, it is disturbing, but it's intentionally disturbing.
I mean, Death Stranding does look intentionally disgusting, but here's the thing, though. It's, supposed to be that, and I guess you could argue it's supposed to be the case with this, but again, okay, maybe the execution.
The problem is that, from what we know of, but the problem is that subtlety is not something that Compile Heart has in their vocabulary. Like, that's not what they do at all. They're completely incapable of it. So having them handle this premise, that doesn't bode well at all.
I'm not quite sure subtlety is the key here, because even with Death Stranding, we literally see a baby inside a guy's throat.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Like, good taste. How about that? Because even Neptunia has a lot of jokes that are very questionable.
Also, Pedro, for context, if you manage to see it more, do you have a more clear judgment of Dark Rose Valkyrie?
No, and I haven't gotten back to that yet because I've been busy with other stuff.
From what we heard from your impressions, it seemed...
The first hour, I've really enjoyed it. Like I've said, I've really enjoyed the first hour so far. Like the writing, Miyajima, thanks to Miyajima as a screenwriter, the writing is actually the most solid I've ever seen out of this company. For those who don't know,
sorry?
Dark Rose Valkyrie. It's a Compile Heart game where they got Kosuke Fushishima, aka the character designer of the Tales of series, and Takumi Miyajima as a writer, aka the guy who wrote Tales of Symphonia and Tales of the Abyss, and he also wrote Arcrise Fantasia, which is an underrated Wii RPG that I recommend people play. And it's just from hour one, it's just from playing the first hour, it's already the best Compile Heart game I've played because the writing is very solid, as Miyajima's scripts always are. And the concept is kind of interesting, so I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.
And do you know anything about Death and Request, since I think it came out recently or not?
In Japan? Maybe in Japan. I don't think it has been last for localization yet.
I was really asking because, again, I don't know anything yet about it.
I don't remember I don't know if it came out already, but ever since Idea Factory International was established, all of their games have been localized very reasonably quickly, so there should be no problem in localizing Death and Request as well. Like I said, because of the cheap nature that these games are made, they don't need to sell that many units to make a profit, so it's easy for them to do it. Go ahead, Joe.
Speaking of fan servicey games, guys, there's a game that recently got localized this year, which is notice that I'm almost out of military might. So the battles against Tyron are some of the hardest. Can be some of the hardest in the game because he has a shit ton of cannons that you can do. So you're gonna have to be very careful about how you use the military might because if you run out, you're kind of fucked. Go ahead, Joe. Right. A game called Omega Labyrinth. It was made in 2015, but got sort of a slight remake slash remaster slash re-release. It was released in 2015, but now came out in 2018. Basically, it's a game that has been noted for its heavy fan service content. Allow me to talk about the plot of this. The game follows a group of girls as they explore a dungeon in search of the fabled Holy Grail of Beauty, which is...
No flippin' way, you beat me again. How can we get all the luck, you pointy-eared pipsqueak?
Huh, luck has nothing to do with it, Tyron. The Kingdom of Evermore has justice on its side, and here it comes!
I was tempted to give up the battle early because you kept saying charge!
We have Apollo Justice as our attorney.
Indeed.
Yeah, poor the other one. This here's my territory. I'm just letting you bore it for a while, that's all.
Sure, you are.
Right.
See, I got big plans for this place. I'm gonna turn it into the wildest kingdom in the whole world. A place for bandits, bruisers, and bad blokes from all over that come and feel right at home.
You know, there's a perfect place in the canyons of Sky Pirates.
So you enjoy your little stint here, kitty cat. I'll be back before long, and I'll be coming to claim what's mine.
Keep telling yourself that.
Yeah, thanks for telling us all your plans, pal. Suppose we better come back expect another visit sooner or later then, eh?
Yeah.
Yep. Yes! I never realized that protecting one's borders was such hard work.
By the way, where did the music go?
Evan, you may want to consider erecting a wall for
Hey, look,
that.
Cloud Shadow.
Of course it is, man. But it's all part of running up and coming down there. Just take it one battle at a time, Evan. You'll do fine.
Yeah. Or you could grind some battles in the meantime if you feel like, yeah.
I hope so. I'm sure if we all work together, we'll be able to fend them off again.
Nah, I don't know, Pedro. I mean, remember, my country got devolution. We didn't need a bloody fence.
So yeah, bandits at the border, complete. And we got some rewards for beating that skirmish. Alright.
You're doing another skirmish now, are you?
No, I'm not. I don't think I am, at least. I usually only do one skirmish per part, and that's when I actually do skirmishes, because I only show off the more important skirmishes in terms of story / side quest stuff, not so much the grindy ones that are just there for the sake of XP.
Every time, seriously, most of the time when you go to the menu, Tali looks like she's yawning or is otherwise tired. Nobody picks you out of place. She rarely sleeps from the look of it.
It's called expressing the character's personality through the animation, Dwibs.
But she's tired all the freaking time.
No, she's just lazy.
Yes.
If she were lazy, she'd be bored and that and go. "Rrrr."
Well,
There's a
yawning
difference
can
between
be a sign of
there's a
boredom.
difference between being lazy and being easily bored, Dwibs. Anyway, let's.
They kind of overlap, though.
Depends. Anyway, let's check our equipment.
Anyway,
We should be fine. All right. Next, we're gonna continue to do some more side quests. You're saying, Jova? Sorry.
Right.
Oh, we're going to actually do
what
one of
was
my
I
favorite
talking
side
about?
quests right now. But go ahead.
Omega Lobby.
All right, a Mega Labyrinth. Basically, it's a game not made by Compile Heart, believe it or not, and the developers are Matrix Software, and it was published by D3 Publisher. Matrix Software are a company located in Tokyo, founded in July
They did
1994.
Alundra on the PS1.
That's right, yeah. The thing
And
about
Lost in
Olymp-
Blue games. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, basically they're a good developer, but they have some quirks. Omega Labyrinth being one of those. Essentially, it's a story about where the protagonist is basically searching for this holy grail beauty in order to increase her chest size because she feels uncomfortable about her small breasts. And basically, it's a dungeon crawl role-playing game. However, it does revolve around increasing the bust of the characters to the point where they dedicate quite a lot of time to these animations for when they grow and tear out of the clothes.
It's like
Well,
it's
I guess that game's not coming to the UK then.
Actually,
It's banned in 5 countries. You can still get it through Play Asia, but otherwise it's banned in Ireland, the UK, Germany, and somewhere else.
It's like if I remember correctly, Jova, is that a Compile Heart game, or is it like?
It's not, believe it or not. It's made by Matrix Software.
Well, Matrix Software is usually an outsourced kind of developer. They don't usually aren't.
Here's the thing: Matrix Software have teamed up with developers such as Square Enix and Chunsoft.
Well, yeah, they even helped out development of Little Brothers. I mean, they're usually developers who do all the hard work, whereas the primary company does the creative part of it.
Yeah, and before you ask, Compile was not involved with Omega Labyrinth at all.
Also, Pedro, for getting context, they are the guys who did the iOS port of Final Fantasy 5 and 6, and also Little Brothers.
Yep, the same guys who brought us
You still there,
Layton
Shira, by the way?
Brothers.
She's verbed.
Okay.
That's right. The
No,
same
I'm
core.
here.
All right, because
abandon the UK.
Because we're about to get a really important side quest. So
That's
check
right,
this
guys.
out.
The same guys who brought.
All right.
Oh,
Who's these?
You'll see.
Girl?
Excuse me.
I'll be the mom,
Excuse me, are you alright? What's
and
the
I guess
matter?
Twips can be the kid. Why not?
Hey.
Oh, look, Mother, it's King Evan. We should ask King Evan to help us.
No, actually, he's a nice kid. So portray him as a nice kid.
It says mischievous boy.
Oh, right. Shh, be quiet, yapping pup. We don't need anyone's assistance. We will cope just fine on our own.
But if there's anything we can do, we'd be happy to help, really. Could you at least tell us what the problem is, and all you need to do is just join our kingdom afterwards?
Actually, this one doesn't join our kingdom, but it's still important. You'll see why. Well, if you must know, we recently got out to pay a visit to Capstan upon Hull. We never made it there. A vicious monster attacked us on the way.
How silly did this one look, I wonder?
Actually, it's a dragon, so it looks fine. It seems
Really?
it seems it likes to prey on children and the infirm. The brute. It is too cowardly to pick on anyone its own size. So basically,
So let me get
it's
this
a
straight.
bully monster.
So let me get this straight. Entire villages killed by a silly-looking monster. Monster that kills grandma. Silly-looking monster. Dragon that's too afraid to pick on anyone its own size goes after a mother and kid, can't even kill them.
Go ahead,
He sounds
Tail.
like a pretty cunning monster.
Basically, the monster only hides and only attacks when he sees easy prey.
If only Geralt of Rivia was here.
People, but nobody's going after it, and we can do nothing ourselves to help it.
Seriously, this sounds like the start of a hunting quest from The Witcher.
yeah.
You'll see.
So
Tail.
how are you going to get to Capstan?
Paige,
Yes, Twips?
does the mischievous kid actually do anything mischievous?
No.
So what's the point of calling it mischievous?
That is a bit of a weird name, I'm gonna be cool, because like the mother's actually
Oh, you-
despairing.
That's not a solution. It makes things way harder. Not just for you, but for everybody else.
That's like if Ace Attorney made a game. That's like if it was an Ace Attorney game where one of the characters is called Good Kid, but it turns out he's an absolute devil.
Also, Dweebs,
Well, I
we
guess in
cannot
that
just
case you
call
can
it
say it works for
Dweebs,
irony.
Go ahead, Tail.
Besides, we can... No way. I'm not going to.
Basically, she's planning on taking a huge detour so she can avoid the monster
And
altogether.
Are you
Roland told
alright,
me it's not a
Roland?
good idea. We don't give in to bullies. We can't let them have their way, and we won't negotiate with terrorists. Oh,
Do that.
Says the President of the United States.
Well, exactly.
let's take
Dweebs.
care of that monster for you. You see the attack on the way to Capstan upon Hull?
But the warden doesn't want to go back. I bet you the game's hiding that back home he was actually a bit of a bully of a president, and he's just here hiding from his shame.
Hold on, Dwebs, don't worry. We'll find out more about that stuff about Roland, not just in the side quest, but also in the later chapters. But for now,
So-
let's just
So does this monster encounter count as a skirmish?
No. It's just a monster. It's just a monster that you fight.
Okay. Also, Dweebs, you
The
cannot
seeds of
just call
righteousness.
you cannot just call a boy Bowie, because otherwise you get stuff like the new God of War when he becomes a fucking meme.
You need to become
I did
a
think
warrior.
what I would have named him is like, well, eager boy, or a curious child, or basically mother's son.
Tio, actually, Roald Dahl's got them beat. Remember, one
There
of
you
his
go, Teo.
autobiographies.
Oh
one of his
Jesus, that's a huge one.
One of his autobiographies was
So,
called
Jova,
Boy.
good enough for you?
Calamite.
Again,
Oh,
I just
that-
gotta say, so we finally get a sinister monster. It's the one that's just
My guess, Jova, it's to further emphasize the fact that it's a bully. You know, the fact that he looks so powerful and yet he's such a coward. The fact that he only picks on easy prey that cannot possibly stand up against it. It's the perfect
that's
definition of a bully.
And it even has a purple scheme. Jova, does that remind you of anything?
All right, now we have a very important cut.
Actually, I was thinking of
All right, now we have a very important cutscene. So Jova and Teo, take us away.
Alright then.
really for
Wow,
a side quest of all
Spyro
things.
got me.
The route from Goldpool to Capstan is safe again. Now the mother and son we met won't have to take the long way around. Even poses
And we
like
even get to look cool
Oh.
posing like
Is
this.
something wrong?
Yes, can you please uncross your arms?
No, it's just... I was thinking when they told us about what happened... You got ever so angry, Roland. I've never seen you like that before. You're usually so calm and collected. What happened?
They scratched my cosplay costume.
Oh, that. It was when the mother said that we should just let the monster have its way. It reminded me of something.
Gee, I wonder what.
I must have been about your age, I guess. These kids from the neighborhood were bullying me.
Oh, childhood. What? You were bullied, Roland.
Sure. And I was a pretty small kid, so there was no way I could fight them off. Whatever they did to me, I just had to take it.
Sadly, like the whole you should just punch the bully, that doesn't work. Unlike what a lot of parents would
I
believe.
was coming home from school crying every day. My mom got pretty worried. That was
Well,
the worst
telling
part.
people doesn't
I didn't
actually
mind the
work
bullying, but I hated seeing her like that.
So yeah, basically got home all the time with bruises and shit, and his mom got worried all the time.
So I knew I had to do something. That's when I picked up my first sword. It was just a toy, but I didn't care. I did what I could to stand up for myself. I
Who
had
cares
to.
if it's a toy? It's pretty good for whacking.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did actually, Joe.
Hey, that's one thing sometimes that is sadly with
Can't
some
give in
things.
to bullies. It's as simple as that. Try to put up with it, you always wind up losing some.
You know, for as much as
You could
people
put
say,
you could put up with it for a while and ask them to leave you alone. But if that doesn't work and no
So,
authority
when I
is
heard
going
that
to help
lady
you, then of course
what
feel
she
free
did.
to whack them.
I guess it got me pretty bad. Sorry, I shouldn't have gotten carried away like that.
See, that's the thing with some bullies. Like, well, when they start to get physical, Oh, it's all right, Roland. I'm glad you were able to be so honest to me. Now, I'm more sure than ever, I made the right choice in making you my chief counsel.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine if this? Could you imagine if this got out in the real world though?
Thanks,
President used to beat up kids, and they'll have the kids will want him like impeached or something.
Don't worry, dweebs. That's clearly fake.
Also,
oh, then guys, important line now.
Now that I think about it, I told my exact same story once.
Did you know?
You were saying, Java?
He wasn't the one who beat up the kids. Actually, he was the one getting beat up.
The press will tweak it into saying our president was beaten up by a bunch of kids. The coward, have him impeached.
So
that would be silly.
So yeah,
Jova is the press.
Yeah. Anyway, though, but yeah, that is one thing. It's like, well, as a kid, a lot of us, myself included, at some point realized, when the bullies are gonna punch on you, sometimes you have to punch back. And well, let's just say
regardless, bad press, I should say. Still, in this day and age, bullying is still a very serious matter.
Exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying.
There is no real right way to act. Sorry, we took care of the monster for you, ma'am. You won't need to go the long way around it anymore.
You did? Oh, goodness. Did you hear that, my darling boy? The capstan is safe again.
Yeah.
The bit where it says the mission on the right, my eyesight must be going. I've always said go to Glasgow or something.
Yeah, darling boy.
Mister. You're a true hero, and your little friend
I
too.
want to get away from bullies. I know. Let's go to Glasgow.
That's good, but please refrain from hugging my leg.
I want to be like you someday. Do you have any advice for me?
Let me see. The first thing you need to do is learn to use a sword. But
What?
the thing is that you take good care of your mother.
But give a kid a sword? No.
Well, he needs to be able to stand for himself if danger comes in.
It really does remind me of father sometimes.
Wait till you're a bit older, though.
Did you say something, Evan?
Oh,
Nothing foreshadowing whatsoever. Oh no. I was just thinking how lucky I am to have someone as dependable as you to look up to.
Oh, Pedro, I can guess the plot twist. Evan is actually his son.
I kind of already called that their soul.
You would have said that if you could have seen me at your age. Luckily, I'm older, wiser, and stronger now. If I can put any of that to use in saving your world, all the hard work I put into coming this far will have been worthwhile.
Although, God forbid that Roland is actually Evan's
So there you go. That's where Roland... sorry, go ahead.
Wait a minute. I'm glad to hear it. I'll be counting on you, Roland.
I'll be counting on you.
Wait a minute.
So there you go. That's where Roland's strong sense of justice comes from.
I wonder, what if actually Roland is Evan's soulmate? And let's see,
I don't know, Jova. They don't look too similar to each other. Remember, even if they sometimes change shape and size, soulmates tend to look similar to.
We'll see exactly how does Roland's son tie into the plot eventually, but all in due time.
Also, too, remember one thing though. Remember how in the first Ni no Kuni game, the Pirate King
was the soulmate of a dog? Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the dragon was the soulmate of the boy, and their personalities were actually quite swapped there. Like, especially if who was calling.
It is technically. Yeah, he has a point, Teo. It is technically possible. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, okay. My first theory is, well, obviously, maybe Evan is the soulmate of Roland's son, but something about it does seem a bit odd, though, because let's also remember, both of them are dead or dying in that case. So wouldn't it make sense, though, that just as one dies, the other is dying in some way, shape, or form, linked in a matter?
We'll see, Jove, I guess.
Anyway, is this important dialogue?
No, well, it's a new recruit, I guess. Master Chocho.
Actually, it's a side quest. Basically, this is a side quest. Basically, there's a total of, I think it's like 3 in total, where you're supposed to do. Basically, it's a Spider-Man's pizza, the Spider-Man 2 pizza style side quest, where you're supposed to deliver these meals over the course of the town before the time runs out. Fortunately.
And then an obnoxious accordion theme song starts playing.
It is a good it is a good quest to do though, because you get a recipe for new meals for Floyd. So.
Well, it makes sense. You're essentially delivering for a restaurant, so it makes sense for you to take advantage and knowing what.
If you need to recap, basically this guy mistook us for one of his delivery boys, so now we're stuck doing this thing that we never asked for.
Remind me again, Dweebs, who did the PC version of Spider-Man 2?
A group called Fizz Factory.
Yeah, we literally fizzed on something to make that terrible side mission.
Right.
But yeah, again, you're starting to realize why I recommend doing a lot of side quests in this game, because they're so great. Because there's.
Excuse me.
Doing the side. Not only does the side quest give you a lot of great rewards. Sorry, go ahead, Dweebs.
You can tell me later, Dweebs.
This is great. They're called Fizz Factor. Sorry, not Fizz Factory.
That's okay, Teo. Don't worry. This side quest is more gameplay driven than story driven.
Sure. Sorry. Oh, hello.
But yeah, like I was trying to say, aside from giving you great rewards and citizens to recruit, the stories always possess a decent enough amount of story flavor, and some better than others, obviously. But this one in particular we just did, obviously, is one of the better ones, since it provides a really good insight into why Roland is the way he is.
Mm-hmm. So, all right.
Well, question though: does the main story also tell you the same thing sooner or later?
No. That particular piece of information is only relegated to this side quest.
Interesting.
Well, call it like a reward for doing side stuff, I guess.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. As you know me, I usually don't mind. But if I recall, it's you who mind when this kind of thing. Don't worry. Even if you don't do this side quest, the main story still works fine even without that particular piece of information. It's just extra. It's just extra info for the sake of fleshing out the character even more.
I guess it seems a bit weird. Well, okay, I guess to be fair, Roland has already mentioned he had a son, but I forget. Has he mentioned he had a son? Outside the
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
You see it in his bio in the Citizen Almanac, and like I said, later on in the later chapters, we actually do see his son. So yeah, his son does eventually come up in the main plot.
All right. Then. But yeah, okay.
The whole backstory with the bullies, that is exclusive to the side quest, though. Okay. It's for the sake of, like I said, it's for the sake of giving him an even more fleshing out and don't worry, the main story in particular still works fine even without that side quest.
Lovely.
Spicy noodles. Seriously?
The sweet saffron tea house never fails. Fast as fate, delicious as destiny. That's an interesting.
Surprise, there's not a for it.
And yeah, fortunately, I forgot which other game we were playing that does it terribly, but fortunately, every time you go into the pause menu or talk to people, the timer stops. I forgot which. If I remember correctly, we were doing a game recently at the time of this recording that didn't have the decency of programming this kind of thing well. And always had the time.
Yeah, I remember that too. Oh gosh, I don't remember.
I totally forgot as well.
Yeah, okay then. It was the location where I mentioned also Persona 5. It does the same thing in the Okumura battle.
Yeah. But that one does it fine though.
Well, it's more like that battle gives you like 30 minutes before to go, so plenty of time.
So yeah, turns out this was all a big misunderstanding.
You don't say.
Okay. Alright then.
What is it too?
I guess these NPCs really don't know the concept of a camera. It's like when you try to make a photo in public and all these people still storm in front of you.
So yeah, as an apology for mistaking us for delivery boy, he gives us a recipe with good things. So I would argue that NPC that just went by us, that's just a natural aspect of him, walking around because that's what NPCs do.
I guess, but
it's not. I mean, it's not like in Lightning Returns where they're literally bumping into us and pushing us around.
They're like ships ramming full speed into you.
I mean, whenever you have a town with NPCs walking around, obviously there's going to be situations where an NPC might walk in front of the character because it's part of their walking cycles. That's just part of it, honestly. It's only a real problem, like I said, in Lightning Returns, where the NPCs are completely devoid of brains.
Or Sonic, even in minor measure, even in Sonic 06.
No recipe. I love no recipes. Now I can cook even more delicious dishes. New recipe. Yes. I'm sorry, but Floyd's accent doesn't. Even though he does have a British accent, nowhere near British enough for that line. Okay, let's see which dishes we have now. Oh, we do have new dishes to make, but we don't have the ingredients, so I guess we'll have to come back later. Are you ready to order? Oh, we have the fish supper at least. This should be good for kitties. And nothing else. See you.
See ya indeed.
Alright, everybody. In the next part, if I remember correctly, we finish the side quests in the next part, and we even start a bit of the main stuff. I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, we're almost done with the side quests. So see ya.
See ya.